Welcome back to another episode of After the License, the podcast where we help real estate agents build their business. Excited we have another interview for you today, sitting down with Devonte Davis from Buffalo, New York. Welcome, Devonte. How's it going, man?
Man, things are well, man. Abundant, man. How about yourself?
Same. It's
We're
I
good.
love that, abundant. So, why don't you tell the people kind of how you got in the real estate industry, what part of the country you're in, and let's start there because I'm excited to dive into some of your social media stuff too.
All right, perfect. Yeah. All right. Hello, everybody. First off, my name is Devonte Davis. I'm up in Buffalo, New York. So if you guys know where the city is, we're probably 8 hours from the city, 6 hours from the city. Buffalo is real cold all the time, and where the Bills Mafia is true. But yeah, I got into real estate. Been doing this probably about 3 years now. Got into real estate. I actually was an engineer before. So I was in engineering, got into real estate because I watched a guy get an award for doing the same thing for 40 years and he hated his life. So that was a big reason. And nothing, no knock to anybody doing a 9 to 5. I think a 9 to 5 is great if it works for you. For me, I couldn't do it. And I watched him and he was miserable. Like, Jeff, this dude hated his job. I just couldn't imagine doing that for 40 years, getting an award for it, and they tell me good luck for the rest of your life. So my first 11 months was part-time. I was doing engineering 12 hours a day on lunch. After work, I was showing houses. I was just hustling. And then it ended up to being the fact that they were downsizing. When they downsized, I was the last guy on, and I was a tooling engineer over the tooling department. I was the last guy on. They let me go. It was perfect because I was already praying to, get into entrepreneurship, start my business, stuff like that. So that's how I got in. And then ever since then, man, I've just been neck deep in real estate. Just started on video, doing a lot of social media stuff. And then that's how I really got into the business. And I've been part-time for the last 2.5 years. And it's been a joy, man. Up and down, but it's definitely been a joy for sure.
Yeah, I love that. So the real estate industry was there something that drew you to it? Like, have you always wanted to get into real estate, or did you just kind of see it as an entrepreneurship kind of outlet for you, something where you could start your own business and hit the ground running type thing?
Yeah, honestly, I always seen it as both. My dad used to always preach to me as far as on the investing piece, like, man, you got it. When I was younger, man, you got to get some houses, try to get 10 units, stuff like that. So as I got older, I was actually looking to. I had quite a bit of money saved up. So I was always good with saving money for the most part. So when I left the engineering side, like I said, I was making good money there. And I was like 24 at the time, 25. So I had about 25 grand saved up. So I was looking to just start investing right away. But then I was looking into something I know I can work hard. Like, that's always been my backbone. So something just told me, hey, man, just go get, just be a realtor, basically just go get a job doing that. And that's what really intrigued me. I didn't know all the ins and outs of being a realtor, starting your own business and stuff like that. I just think, I'm just going to do a couple of deals here, but it turned for me very quickly. So, but yeah, that was the thing. And I always just, the Ryan Serhans, the big mega agents at the time, just Googling, YouTube and everything like that. But I knew I always wanted my own business. And this was the first vehicle to help me get there. So that answering that question, that's how it all happened. A little bit of my pops, but mostly as I got over, wanting to invest. Eventually, I love people. I love serving. It just all went hand to hand and just get into residential real estate.
Yeah. And a lot of folks that are interested in investing, I've talked to a lot of them who end up then selling some type of real estate to start out, right? They kind of have goals of investing down the road, but what a better way to kind of learn the industry, learn your market, learn what might be good investment properties and whatnot, than selling. So I think that's fantastic. So you talked about working 12-hour days as an engineer and doing real estate part-time. Like, how tough was that? I know it was tough, but like, was it tough juggling it? Like, did you have to tell your clients, hey, I work full time, or did you kind of try and keep that a secret a little bit? Because I think a lot of people listening are brand new, or they're thinking about getting into real estate, and they're like, how am I going to balance both? Like, what did that look like for you?
Yes, and yes. Juggling them was tough just because the boss over me at the time, it wasn't even that. It was we had to work 12 hours by company standard. He just demanded it. So it was a 6 a.m. thing to, 4 or 5 a.m. No, six, no, it's 6 to 6 basically. Or if I got in there earlier, 5 to 5. But yes, it was when it came to clients. I would tell them, like, I would try to get around it because I know a lot of them work 9 to 5. So I used to say, hey, do you have a lunch break too? Like, like I'm trying to, hey, if you can go out on lunch, so can I. Those ones that were retired, because I had a couple of retirees too. I was like, hey, I can always meet you at 12 o'clock. Like it was never a reason why. Or I would play around a little bit. I would take my lunch a little later. Oh, it's 2 o'clock? Perfect. Hey, I'm gonna just stay in for a little bit. So, and then after work, I was literally changing in the parking lot, throwing on my button up, and I was going to Shore House. I can meet you anywhere by 5:30, 6:30, as soon as I got out. Like Buffalo, nothing is far in Buffalo. So as long as I don't catch that little traffic that we have, I can meet you anywhere in 15 minutes, 20 minutes. But yeah, it was tough, man, because then you talking about I'm in a relationship. I've been dating her for 4 years. So it was like when I was coming home, she was trying to hang out. I'm trying to put together contracts. So it was like that. And I seen that was weighing on the relationship a little bit too. But I'm like, look, if you're going to be with me, I can't give up my dream to hang out for a little bit or like parties and all that stuff. I'll see y'all later, man. Saturday and Sunday, that's all I have was open houses and showings because Monday I'm right back to it. So it's tough, but it's doable if you want to do it. It is doable.
Well, and I like that you knew, okay, what I want to do is here, and I'm going to have to put in the work now, right? Because the other option is what? So many people, I think, just quit. They quit their job and they jump in. And if that works for some people, and I think some trainers and coaches recommend that. I think that's so tough because, as you know, it can take a couple of months to have that first closing, right? Or to even really have a prospect of a closing. So to think about all the things you have to set up and all the, you have to set up your Facebook business page. You have to do all this stuff to think about just someone quitting and trying to jump in with both feet, especially if they don't have a mentor or a trainee or something, it can be really tough. So I love the path of doing something part-time or figuring out how to do it, part-time while you're doing something else full-time. But you're right. It's gotta be tough, but I'm glad you kind of stuck with it. So how long did it take you? Like how long was that transition period? It sounded like 10 or 11 months, or was it almost a year before you felt comfortable enough to quit and kind of jump into it full time?
So it's funny how God works because like my plan was to quit my engineering. Like I said, once I watched him get that award, I'm like, I gotta get out of here. But so my plan was to stack some more money up and then leave like in that June. Like my birthday is in June. So I was like, I'm gonna leave on my birthday easily. Like I'll stack this, go here. But then that January, so 6 months prior, they start. I'm at work, no exaggeration. I'm just hearing people get called over to. I'm like, what is going on? Who name do I hear called? Mine. so I go down to it. They let me go. So when I was kind of forced into it as well, but I had that 11-month period to kind of like, all right, I understand what's going on. So I wasn't as scared. To your point, it depends on everybody because there's some people like, I know a guy, he's in California. He got out of the banking world. He was in banking for 10 years. Same thing. Didn't want to do it, quit. But he had so many different relationships in mortgage. It worked out for him. Someone just jumping in there, I don't know. Like, I mean, everybody's different. It depends on your risk level. That was my risk. I didn't go back, so I guess that was a risk too. But it took me a little bit. Probably those 11 months, I may have closed 3 deals, but it took me 6 months, 5 months before I can actually get a deal. And that was at an open house. Like I was working open houses every weekend, man. Like when I first started, I'm calling around the office. I'll hold it for you, please. So it's an adjustment period, and then going from part-time to full-time is an adjustment period. So it just takes that little learning curve.
And 6 months is pretty typical, right? And I like, I think agents need to kind of understand that as if they get into the business, it's probably going to take 5-6 months. Now, maybe there are going to be some folks, like you said, maybe they have a big pool of contacts that they know, or maybe they get lucky and if they jump into it full time, maybe they can find something in 2-3 months or find some buyers right away. But for most people, it takes 6 months to kind of get their first paycheck. So smart of you too to kind of make sure you had some savings, because it is a big leap, right? It's just not like a 9 to 5 where you're going to get another paycheck in 2 weeks. It just
Yeah.
doesn't always work like that.
Nope. Yeah. Crazy.
I know. So what does your business look like now? You've been doing this for a couple of years. I know you're big on social media. Like, where do a lot of your leads come from? Where do your clients come from today?
So a lot of mine, so to mesh that story together, when I got into full time, I found a mentor like right away. Because you going from working, was that 60 hours a week to you on your own, I was lost, man. Like my first 2 months, I was just like, all right, what do I do? But I was already starting to do video because I know, I can talk a lot. And it was just, we consume so much on video. So I got a mentor. You should look him up. You know what? That's a person you need on this podcast. But after that, his name is industry calls him the Zillow Killer, but his name is James Rember, and that's my mentor. So what James was, make a long story short, I took his boot camp for Facebook ads because I knew I needed to reach more people. It wasn't like I was a bad agent, like, you know what I'm saying? It wasn't like I just wasn't closing as fast as I wanted to. So it's like, how do I reach more people? Like, in fact, I was already doing video, but now I need to learn ads, marketing. How do I put myself out there? That's when I found him, took his boot camp. Ever since then, he's just been mentoring me and then taking me from there. But now everything is video. In the beginning, it was just Facebook. I'm posting every day on Facebook, my business page and my personal page. For a lot of people, they'll find that, their personal page always gets more engagement compared to their business page. It's just because you're building your business page up. Now, probably TikTok and YouTube for a fact. My YouTube, tripling down on YouTube right now, and then still staying steady with TikTok and Facebook. But everything, no exaggeration, mostly all my leads come from YouTube, TikTok, or Facebook, and IG. Facebook and IG is almost the same.
Yeah.
But those are my video. I can't even express that enough. And then once you get ready, I would just start putting $1 a day, $2 a day at some Facebook ads, running even more videos. So that's where all my stuff comes from, and that's where I've been building now. So
that's fantastic. So let's start with Facebook. So you're posting a video a day. Mm-hmm. What does that look like? I think some people struggle with, like, what do I post, right? And so what did that look like for you? Were you doing Facebook Lives? Were you showing your open houses? Like, what kind of videos, or what did you do on Facebook specifically to start out?
To start out, I was doing everything throwing stuff at the wall, honestly. And that's just being very transparent. I was throwing stuff at the wall, but I was also giving value. I never stopped giving value-based. Jeff, 95% of people who walking around right now don't know how to close on a home. Don't even know what a contract is. So that's what or even how to apply for a loan. So that's what I was giving away. What is a VA loan? What is an FHA? What is conventional? Like little stuff like that, just giving the game away. And then that's how I would get just text. I would get DMs, and I would just get people just constantly, hey, what about this? What about this? Or how do I do this? Just teaching people the stuff we know, or we assume people know, they have no idea. So that's what I was doing. And then I really got started into what really helped me a lot was my community-based videos. We can find a 2-story colonial anywhere, but people move into a neighborhood because of the neighborhood. They move into it because of this school district, or it's safe, there's no crime, it has these amenities, I like this grocery store. So those are the things, if anything, I would say start there. Give people what you know, and then talk about your community or the things that you're passionate in. Right now, I'm big into fitness. Buffalo is a very community-based town or city. So I would give things like that. Or just, what do you like? Do you like to jog, yoga, run, fitness? Cook. There's a plethora of different videos that you can make, and what to say. Those are probably 30 topics right there. And that's where I started, kind of.
And you're really kind of building a community of followers, right? Whether that's around fitness or yoga or whatever that looks like. So it's funny. I stumbled on an old National Association of Realtors study. This is back in 2013, and they talked about video, and they were talking about how powerful video was. And the first thing on this study was 80% of the consumers will look at videos to learn about a community. And it said 65% will do it to tour a home, right? And so the National Association of Realtors knew this back in 2013. Obviously they shared it, but not a lot of people followed. And it's even more prevalent now. And so I love those ideas of focusing on the community, focusing on what you're passionate about, teaching the process. And, the way these algorithms work is the more engagement you can get, the more time people watch your videos, the more they interact with them, the bigger you kind of naturally grow. And so that's fantastic. So have those same strategies kind of translated to TikTok and YouTube, or how are you approaching those now?
So YouTube, yes. I'll start with YouTube. YouTube, yes. Everything community based. Are you on YouTube yet?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Oh, so you know. YouTube is everything. All community based. People want to know, especially Phoenix. Like, there's not many. Well, I can't say that, but I think it's like the search results is like people type in Buffalo maybe 160 something thousand times a month. I'm sure they type it in 300,000 for Phoenix. Everything. So any neighborhood, vlogging is always best. Walk around and talk. Any city, neighborhood, I'm sure y'all have a bunch of them, or anybody who's listening right here, whatever your big city is, right? Take all 30, 50 of those neighborhoods around you, go to each one and talk. Just talk. Yeah. The biggest three that you can ever make, pros and cons about living here, 7 reasons or 10 reasons not to move here. The vlog of your community, so that specific community, restaurants, eating, schooling. Those are probably the top 3, and you can literally do that for every single neighborhood. And then when people watch you, SEO, you can get geeky later as far as the SEO and thumbnails and all that stuff. If you just start posting consistently, if you want to break it down like this, YouTube loves quantity, people love quality. So those are probably your biggest 2 things. And then just dive massively down there. I mean, I can probably give you a list of things. And 2 people to watch, if not yourself, watch Levi Legaspi. He's out in Dallas. And there's another guy named Jackson Wilkie. He's out in Houston. So
Yeah. Well, and I love those tips. And I've got a buddy who's actually in I do a mastermind group every week, and he does the same thing with community videos, and he doesn't even edit them. Right. And he just goes to a specific community, turns on his camera, and he says he gets more leads from just people who want to live in a specific community. Google it. And because he's the only one who's done a video on it, he pops up number 1 on Google and in YouTube, and people watch the video. And again, he'll make a mistake, he says, and he just doesn't even edit it out. He goes, oops, and just keeps going. And he's just all about the quantity. And it sounds like you've had success. You're getting leads from those videos now. That sounds like a big source for you.
Yeah, man. YouTube, honestly, and I started last year, COVID. So I think my first one was like March, just me vlogging around like North Buffalo. No exaggeration. If I knew what I knew now, I would have doubled down then. I probably get a call or text probably 3 times a week.
Wow.
No, like either rentals or people actually moving here, or just people commenting, "Hey, I'm coming up there. Hey, I'm moving there in 6 months." Like, cool. That means you'll always have business. Like a lot of realtors, and probably they're thinking, okay, and I do understand it because I've been at closing tables like, look, I need this to close today. Like, I need this check yesterday. Like, I understand. I've been there. But if you can think about, if you get on YouTube now, and I'm just sticking with YouTube right now because I know it's a greater beast. But you talk about every 3 months, 6 months, if you get, let's say 100,000 people view Phoenix every day, you talk about 10% of those just to talk to them on a monthly basis.
Yeah.
You talk about 1% of those, like that's a lot of people. 300 views. You got 3, and YouTube is a 30-second per view instead of 3 seconds like Facebook. 30. You talk about 300 people every video viewing your stuff. You're filling up a classroom every day, every week.
Yeah.
Oh, like I'm telling you, and nobody's doing it because nobody wants to get on video, especially realtors.
So the people that end up reaching out to you, right? And this is something I've talked to other guests about, but interested to get your opinion. Like, do you notice that there's already like this rapport built with them? Like they feel like they know you and it's almost makes the sales process easier. Have you noticed that in those interactions?
No exaggeration, Jeff. It's like you're a mini celebrity. I had a client coming up from the city. You know that everything is expensive in New York. $1 million, 1,200 square feet, if that. I opened the door. Hey, what's going on? Like, I'm like, yo, who are you talking to? Like, I'm like, I'm just, you're just Devonte, or you're just Jeff.
Yeah.
Like, guys, you're like, hey, we've been watching you all night. We watched every single video. I'm like, oh, shoot. But I get that every phone call, every Zoom call. So now what that process is, instead of me waiting for a phone call, as soon as they contact me, let's jump on a Zoom call. Not for the vanity, but let's get the face-to-face. And as soon as you get here, I'll meet you at the airport. I had one, Andrew. He came in on a Wednesday. I was with him on Thursday for 4 hours, showing him around. We're closing on the house right now. And that was like, if anybody who comes in Buffalo and they've seen the video, I'll meet with them. I'll clear the schedule. Because I know that's a firm, like, you can't beat that. And then once they get here, now they go for employment. Oh, who did you use to move up here? Boom. I never even been in that building, but now you are. Like, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, man. It's like an immediate report. You just did what you normally do, is put up videos. It's crazy.
Yeah. Do you have any tips? You're an electric guy, right? Like you're positive and your personality kind of jumps off the screen. Has it always been like that? Or do you have tips for agents who are maybe scared of the camera a little bit? Like anything along those lines?
Yes. Yes, I've always been like this. Well, as I found myself. You know that 19 to 21-year-old you find yourself? Yes.
Yeah.
But as far as the how I started, everybody has an iPhone. Everybody can send video text message. I start sending nothing but video texts. Like friends, family, they can send me, hey, what you doing? Hey, what's going on? Send. Like, that's what helped me get on camera. Because, everybody worries about the hair, the makeup, what I got on, how I look, how do I sound. That's what helped me get out of that. Believe it or not, I've always been scared of the camera. Like, if you ask any of my friends for when I was younger, if we were taking a group picture, I would turn around in the group picture. Like, I got a couple when I was 16, 15, like, even in college, I would not take the picture. Like, nah, I'm cool, man. So that's how I got started. And eventually, like, you find out once you start, as you're consuming videos, if you can bypass somebody else's mistake, people are going to bypass your mistake. Like, you're going to get bad comments. Like, you're going to get amazing comments. You're going to get reach outs. You're going to get times like you feel like nobody's watching it. That comes with it, man. It's tough. I don't got you on some comments. Most of the negative comments I don't respond to. I respond to every other comment. But I mean, you're going to get those. Like, unfortunately, like there's nothing you can do. Yeah.
It's just part of the process. But I love the idea of kind of doing the video text. I've done some video emails as of late too, like using BombBomb or Dub, and you end up getting the replies on those emails are, you get many more replies, and they're more enthusiastic versus just kind of like a text message, anything. So I love that with kind of family and friends, kind of using that as a way to kind of get comfortable in front of the camera too. So.
Yeah, I mean, you can't change the way you look or sound. It is what it is at this point.
I know. Well, and it's funny you said that too. Like, I'll show up to the movies in like sweatpants and a t-shirt and like not having showered for a day. But then for whatever reason, when I get on camera, you want to dress up a little bit, right? And it's like, it's funny the way we kind of think about video that way. But you're right. Most people in 2021 and beyond they're not looking at what you're wearing always. You know what I mean? They're just looking for the message, and they're looking for, can you provide value? And, is this person, entertaining, right? It's like we're not, especially with, stories and social media so much these days where anyone can shoot a video at any time. The quality doesn't need to be there as much as just the quality of content.
And that's the fascinating part. Like, you hit the nail right on the head. If you think about this past year, Zoom was on your news, and I don't even watch TV, but Zoom was on CNN. If you think about that, there are people doing interviews with just like yourself, air on national TV, shooting movies or and nobody cared about the audio. All they cared about what's happening in the world right now. People just want authentic people, man. With so many And I'm careful about, I don't put anybody down. But with so many gurus and stuff like that these days, people just want to know, is it real or is it not? Like, and they'll hear that in your voice. Once you get on video, you can't fake that no more. It's like Clubhouse. And once everybody got on Clubhouse, it's like, oh, do he really know what he talk about or he don't? Like, it's either one of the two. So I agree. I mean, you hit the nail right on the head with that, man. For real.
Yeah. So the other thing I'm interested to know if you've tried. So I've done some videos here for Scottsdale and Phoenix, and what I found, not only have I put them on YouTube and gotten some good response from them, but using them as ads. Have you tried that? Like I have a video, it's like 3 reasons to move to Scottsdale, and I'm now putting that on Facebook with an advertisement, and I'm getting a lower cost per lead for like Scottsdale buyer leads than I ever have before some of my other ads. So that's the other kind of pro of doing those longer form videos too.
Yeah, I haven't with those, but you just gave me a great idea. So I'll definitely be doing that now. Now that you got some, I generally, if I ran ads on Facebook, it generally was a community one, or like I said, just some value based. But now that you said that, I will easily throw $100 behind that. So, but yeah, I haven't done any of that, but I'm curious to see the reaction now. So I'm definitely gonna do it for sure.
Yeah, and that's the thing is, so my videos are kind of community videos too, right? But in the first 30 seconds, I'll put like, hey, if you want to, search what homes are available in Old Town Scottsdale, click a link in my website down below, right? And I put that on YouTube too. And then I go to like, okay, here are the 5 reasons to move to South Scottsdale type thing. But people are clicking on that on Facebook, and I'm boosting that post, and then they're registering on the website. And so it's kind of an interesting, yes, there's a huge benefit with YouTube, but then you can also repurpose some of those videos, which I think is really, really cool. So
I do repurpose them. I just, again, those only community ones, but I'm about to do that now. That like the pros and cons and stuff like that. Now you got me thinking now, Jeff. You got me thinking now.
So I know you mentioned TikTok earlier. What does that look like for you? I know you're kind of focused on YouTube. Are you still doing some stuff on TikTok, or what does that look like?
Oh yeah. So in the beginning of this year, I was focused solely on Instagram, but now that Instagram is changing, and because of TikTok, I probably post. My goal is to always post 4 times a week on TikTok right now. 30 seconds to 60 seconds. I do have some long ones. I'm still personally confused on the algorithm. I know it's about watch time for sure. Big on watch time. I had a couple videos. I had like 1 or 2 videos hit like 1 million. My one video hit like my one video hit like 2.4, and the other one hit it's close to 1 mil right now. But to me, it's so sporadic, man, because like my last 4 or 5 videos, I'll get like 300 views. Like right now, I think I got about 35,000 on there as far as followers go. But it's like, it's just fascinating to me because it's like I have those followers, but then some videos like duds, man. And you have bad videos, but it's like 300. I mean, I got all these followers, man. How ain't anybody seeing this? But the people I talk to, as with anything, just stay consistent on there. But it's sporadic to me, man. It's like it hit, some just dudded, then others will just boom, 1 million. Like, whoa.
Yeah.
Like or 50,000. Like to me, anything over 4,000 to 5,000, that's a lot to me. I mean, even 300 to me is a lot. I mean, you filling up a room, like so. I don't know. TikTok I just like it because it's easy. It's 30 seconds, 15 seconds, 60 seconds. Boom. Same thing with the reels on IG now. So I'm just trying to stay consistent. Just trying to stay consistent on there.
What kind of content are you putting out either on Reels or on TikTok? That's one thing I personally struggle with is it seems like some of the best videos are like these dancing, trendy videos. And I'm like, I don't think I'm going to be dancing on there. You know what I mean? But so what kind of content are you putting on like TikTok?
The one that went crazy, I was literally in Home Depot, just letting people know these are the things you do once you get inside. The things you do once you buy a home, basically. Like, once you get inside, change your shower head, change the toilet seat, change the locks, clean the house. A lot of people was making fun of me of what I was saying because I was like, you just don't know, who used that toilet last or who used the shower head last. So I was getting trolled on a lot, but it helped. Because 2 million views later. But those are the type of things I post. The next one was like things most home buyers forget. toolkits, dish rags, stuff like little stuff like that. That was just, and I was just walking around Target just videoing. Like a lot of things now is more value based. So I'm thinking of, and this is one of my tricks. Feel free to take it. 15-second tips, just something quick, because I noticed with more real estate stuff, car stuff, credit stuff, people don't digest it as long as a funny video, or just like you said in the beginning of this podcast, making it as entertaining as possible. So that's how I'm really trying to find it, as far as being energetic, but giving the value at the same time of entertaining. Such a hard thing to do, man.
I know.
I commend these creators on TikTok, because it's like it's one guy who literally just talks taxes, has like 1 million followers, but he's so engaging. It's like, how do you do it, dude? Like, I don't know. I'm figuring that one out, but I just post consistently on there. When I figure it out, I'll let you know, or vice versa.
Yeah. Well, I think that's the key, though. It's like you just got to be consistent until you figure out, like, okay, these couple things hit, and I don't know if anyone really knows, right? Like I like the shorter videos too, because I think sometimes, like when it's 10 seconds and someone just accidentally watches it 2 or 3 times, I think that helps, and it kind of helps the algorithm. But like you said, I've had videos that I post, and I posted one this morning and it got 80 views, and I posted one last week and it got 2,500. And then that's on Instagram, right? But it's funny. I just have no idea. I'm like, do I delete it and repost it? I'm not sure. So
I think about that every day, man. So I feel you. We gonna get it though. We gonna get it.
Yes. I love it.
It's just fascinating, man. It's just fascinating. And now, like I said, with Instagram changing, because TikTok has dominated for this past 2 years, Instagram is going back all to video. Like straight, like Reels is like crack to Instagram right now. So if you're consistent with Reels, easy blow up, easy.
Yeah. And like you said, it doesn't have to be a dance. It doesn't have to, like, you can just go and answer questions and provide value and provide knowledge, and you can have success with it and keep it short and sweet and as entertaining as possible, and kind of go from there.
Yeah, I seen a guy I seen a guy who literally, all he does is talk about Africa. He sits in a chair. His first 2 seconds is him drinking water or Coca-Cola. And he just talks about Africa and answers people's questions that they comment on. That's it. I mean, he has like 100 videos of it, which is a lot, but that's all he does. He takes a sip or whatever, talks about Africa.
That's great. I like looking at some of those other examples too. I heard that the other day. Is like, I think so often we look at other real estate agents, other real estate professionals, like what works, but sometimes looking at other professions, and like there's some Reels or TikTok creators, like you said, and like doing taxes, or there's this guy I follow on Instagram, and all he does is talk about freelancing work, but he's getting, 50,000 views on his Reels every single time. I'm like, I've got to recreate this somehow. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And that's the thing. See, people get imposter syndrome mixed up because you're getting inspired. It's not like you're stealing exactly their content, but it's like marketing. You think Coca-Cola is not taking Taco Bell stuff? Like it's like, or like Pepsi and Cola. They literally are rivals, legit, but their commercials cross over. They got Santa, the other one got the truck or whatever they be doing. So it's, man, look at what these people are doing. If they're obviously doing something right, and just put yourself on it. Put your authentic self on it, man. I'm not gonna steal nobody content, but I'm sure gonna get inspired by it. If I like something you're doing, I'm gonna figure out how to make it mine. Like, I won't do exactly what it is, but if it's working, you not in Buffalo.
Yeah, exactly.
So, like, I'm not coming to Phoenix no time soon. Like, you know what I'm saying? Man, do it. If that's the case, nobody will be on YouTube. Nobody will be on TikTok. So go ahead and do you, man.
Yeah, and like you said, you end up putting your own flavor on it anyway. So it's going to be different anyway. So that's good.
Yeah,
that's good.
Yeah.
What tips and tricks do you have for new agents? Now you've been doing this for a couple of years. You figured some stuff out. Like, is there anything you wish you could have told your younger self when you were getting into real estate? Like, what does that look like?
I would have looked, I would have got on video. I'd have took video a lot even more serious then. Like, as far as that was what, 2018. So I would have definitely told myself, double down on, like, stop being scared. Like, don't worry about what people think of you. Because like, just being very transparent, I'm a very transparent guy. So like, when I was younger, I had a big confidence issue, like very big confidence issue. So I had that same thing, like, all right, what they gonna say? Is this working? I would have just said, forget it, and just, I mean, every day. Because if I would have done, think about it, if we did every other day, that's 150 videos. And I put out a lot of, I probably got 100 videos on Facebook. But I would have just, every single platform, especially during that time of crossover from, engineering to real estate, part-time to full-time, I would have just hammered out videos. Any research I could find, any knowledge I had, I would have gave. Put yourself out there. Like, I can't express that enough, because 8 times out of 10, 7 times out of 10, the people in your area are not doing that because they have the same issue, or they have the same mindset that you have, that video doesn't work. So if you're the one putting yourself out there, everybody's going to see you. It may take a little longer because you don't have the money to, put ads behind it or throw those marketing dollars. But if you just consistently post, I guarantee that algorithm help you out.
Yeah.
Guarantee.
There's this weird thing, and I've struggled with it, especially when you're first starting out on something. It's like, you don't for me, I almost didn't want to do video because I knew the people closest to me were going to see it and no one else. Right. And that is almost more nerve wracking. And I think that was a self-confidence thing for me too. It's like, my buddies from high school are going to make fun of me for this, right? I'm going to get some funny text messages later, like, and no one else is going to see it. And it's this really weird barrier, I think. Maybe it's just us men have, I don't know, but you just, like you said, you almost just have to, it's when you kind of say, okay, I don't really care what anyone says. If a year from now I'm making business off of this, then it's going to be worth it. And you just kind of have to do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree, man. I agree 100%. Because I really thought the same thing. But at the same time, if those newer agents are listening, you look like the expert. So it's like, if the person who's been doing this 30 years can't get on video, especially right now, the person who's been doing this 30 years cannot get on video and describe to me how to close on a home, and you can, the ball game has just, it's equal now. It's equal now. Because they don't know you're a newer agent. They have no idea. To you, they're giving me valuable information on how to close the gap between me not having a house and me getting a house.
Yeah. And that's all that matters.
Yeah. Write my name on the check. But at the same time, you're giving value. So the law of giving and receiving, like, it has to come back to you. It has to. Like, it has to. So I think that the video equals the playing field. Like, because they're stuck in 1970, and the world has to. If you didn't realize by COVID now, the world has changed drastically, drastically. Yeah. So,
and there's a lot of new agents that don't realize that they have the advantage, and it's a little bit of social media, a little bit of technology. Someone who's younger and a little bit more tech savvy is going to feel a lot more comfortable jumping and, doing a little video editing that maybe takes them a couple hours to learn than someone who's been in the business 40 years. Right. And joined the business when the MLS was a paper book, so it's just this huge advantage that especially younger agents have, or just agents who are okay with tackling some of the technology stuff, even if they know they don't know it right away. And it's just this huge advantage that they get to take advantage of. So
I agree, man. I agree.
That's great. What do you have any podcasts, books, resources that you would recommend for, anyone, whether it's a new agent or someone who's been in the business? Like, do you have any of those that you tap into or listen to? Like, are there YouTube channels you've watched that you kind of learn from? Anything along those lines?
I would start with mindset. I would start with mindset first, because as you know, going from a 9-to-5 to this, and the crazy part is, I said part-time real estate agent, but there's no part-time. Like, you and I both know that. Like, once you win it, you win it. I would start with the mindset, how to plan your day. So I would read something called, oh man, what is that book? There's a couple I recommend, but I would definitely start if you want to do the Keller Williams one. That's it. That's a good one. But I would just start with just normal self-development as far as business philosophy goes. Rich Dad Poor Dad. I would read The Third Door.
The Third Door. Okay.
Yes, The Third Door. It really is. It's not about. It's not about. It's not about per se time management. It's about how to overcome obstacles. So, for instance, and he describes it in once you stand in a line to go to a club, right? You have 3 doors. You have VIP, which most people are not paying for. You have the actual line, but then you can skip all that and go through the kitchen door, which is the back door, the third door that nobody thinks about. You're gonna have 1 or 2 obstacles, but there's always a back door to slip your way in to get anything that you want. That book right there, and he just goes to describe different things and how different people have that mindset. Like they were not going to be stopped. If 2 doors are closed, there's a back way to get into your house or your wherever you want to go somewhere. That was a big mindset shift for me. The second thing I would do is get a mentor. Like even if you can't pay for it, like I said, my mentor is James Rimberg. But even if you can't pay for it, someone in your office who's doing the amount of money or deals or who really has that lifestyle that you want, not the one that's just on for show. I'm talking about, all right, they're really closing deals. I would try to link up with those people. Those are probably the 2 biggest things. Work on your mindset first as far as that entrepreneurship, how to manage your time, things that you want to do, what lifestyle that you want to live. Write out your lifestyle. If it's 6 figures this year, everybody wants to make 6 figures. So if it's 6 figures, right? All right. How do I get to 6 figures? What do those deals look like? How many videos do I need to put out? X, Y, and Z. The next step, in 3 years, I want to own a team. I want to own a broker. What does that look like? 5 years, I want to build this house. I may not want to be in the industry anymore, but I still want to own the brokerage. What does my manager look like? What does my new partner look like? Those are the things I would do first, because the business, it can go up and down on you. So how do we get that to a level playing field? Like, I mean, every year I know what I'm bringing in. Like, how do I make it predictable? How do I make my income predictable? Those are probably the biggest things. But the third door, the reason why I reference that, because it's an easy read and it'll change your perspective on just life in general. But to me, how this industry is, how do I get people to know who I am? You're not a bad agent, or you won't be a bad agent. How do I get people to know who I am? What is that door? What does that look like for me?
Yeah.
So
I love that. I'll link The Third Door. And then you mentioned the Keller Williams book. Are you talking about Millionaire Real Estate Agent?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one.
It's because it teaches you everything. Like it teaches you everything. But for some people, that might be a tough read at first. So I mean, like it just depends. I would start with self-development, mindset. Those are some easy books. And literally, if you're not a reader, audiobook, man. Just that mindset, waking up, like, because if you don't get up and eat, you're gonna starve. So how do I build that business? What does business books look like? Stuff like that. I would start there for sure.
Audible's been a game changer for me. Like I'll go walk the dog and I'll put the book actually like on 1.5 times speed. So like I'll cruise through books in like 6 hours, So like if I walk the dog for like a half hour, in like 2 weeks, I finised a book. I'm like, oh, that's great. It's great. So I'll have to check out The Third Door. Yeah.
Check that out. Let me know what you think about it. Like it just, I guarantee you already have the mindset. You just never knew what it was called. Like, it's like, cause you're driven already. So it's like, once you just listen to that book, it's going to be like, yo, everything makes sense now. At least for me, it did. Yeah.
Well, that was a great analogy, right? It's like, there's always a workaround. There's always a creative way to kind of get what you want, but I almost think of that, like, what was that test that you used to tell people? It's like thinking outside the box, right? It's like, how do you connect these dots without, and people stay inside the box. And it's like, if you can get creative and think outside the box, you can achieve anything that you want. So I'll have to read that. And I'll let you know what I think, but I have a feeling I'm going to like it.
Let me know, man.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah.
Cool. Anything else any other tips or tricks for agents or anything you wanted to promote We'll obviously link all of your social media channels in the description of the YouTube video and the podcast as well, so that people can go follow you. I highly recommend Devonte as a follow. He's energetic, and it's just, he's got something that radiates off of him that hopefully you guys are all getting in the podcast, but you definitely see it in the videos and all that stuff. So definitely recommend him as a good follow. So
appreciate it, man. Nothing to really promote. I don't sell anything, but I mean, only thing I can say is if you guys are coming to Buffalo, I'm looking to build out my team or start a team. So if that's something, if you coming up here, let me know.
Yes.
Let me know.
Yes.
But other than that, if I could be of service to anybody listening or to you, Jeff, I mean, you call me, I'm there. So, and I'm pretty sure I'll be in Phoenix probably this year sometime. So I'll definitely invite you out. So if my mentor does a training, I'll make sure you're there, man, for a fact. So that's definitely something you should get on this podcast.
Man. It's funny. I've been following Zilla Killer James for a little while, so I've got to get him on the podcast. He's he seems like a smart guy. I haven't gone through his boot camp yet, but he's everyone follows him, so it's good. I'll have to get him on. But next time you're in Phoenix, let me know. We'll do lunch. It'll be on me. So
we'll do. Oh, I appreciate that, man. I appreciate
awesome. Well, thank you so much for jumping on. Like I said, I'll link all your social media links in the description, and appreciate the time. And everyone go give Devonte a follow, and we'll catch you on the next one.
I appreciate you, man.
Thank you. Talk to you later.
Talk soon.